Hey everyone, how are you doing today? Great to see you. I hope everyone is having a good week. We made it to yet another Wednesday. Sorry about last week. New computer system, so that caused some glitches. Don't have everything from the old computer to the new computer, and that pretty much took care of that, you know. So here we are. Looks like everything's going really well and it's working. So we have JC all the way from the Atlanta area. How you doing, Mr. Dan? All the way from Indiana. Great to see you. We have Patty all the way from Illinois. How are you, Patty? Great to see you. So once again, you see I have my practice painting where I do all my experiment, and if anything goes wrong here, I could learn from that and do it on my painting, my finished painting that I'm planning on doing. It's a really good way of working. It's a little bit slower, but I'll tell you, things go much smoother. So definitely think about that in the future, right? So what I'm going to do is I am actually going to paint her hair, because when we were working on the orange and white mixture, we kind of went into the hair. So we'll work on that together. But first, everything I do here, I'm going to first do over here, which is very, very important. So let me know you guys are hearing me loud and clear. That would be great. And that the picture is fine. Let's move this out of the way here. I'm not sure what this board is. Huh, look at that. I'm not sure what that is. Loud and clear. Thanks, JC. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. And so I may have to grab some paints. Like I said, if you look here, this is like the end of my wet palette. Things are getting pretty dry with the paints, but you know what? It was like a month, so I think we did pretty well. That's for sure. And let's see, I'm just going to this is going to be like my little working area. I'm ready to get rid of this. These white paper, they're not cheap, but they're not expensive either. But still, you want to be economic about it. And I think this is pretty much done. And I'm going to be working in the airbrush, which is really great. So, let's see. So now I'm going to take my Extreme Patriot 105 and I'm going to dump it out. What's really great about doing it Drew Blair's way is that you're not going crazy cleaning your airbrush out. That when you leave the paint in there, it keeps everything wet and it keeps from clogs happening. So it's almost counterintuitive, but it definitely works. Mr. Kyle, how are you, my friend? All the way from Pennsylvania. Great to see you. How you been, sir? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paint in the hair, right? And so now we're just going to wait till I get my color. So I'm just going to come back here. The tripod is actually on my wire. So that's much better. Okay. We definitely need room to run when we're doing our airbrushing. We need room, you know. Finally thawing out. I hear you, that's for sure. And Mr. JC says you can also do it with the big guns, Tim. Been using it since I started spraying, even before airbrushing. Oh, really? That's fantastic. So those other, like the TH series and everything like that, really? It's interesting how it's almost like, planting a flower. If you planting a vegetable, if you water it too much, you do worse than just like leaving it alone, right? And I think the same with airbrushing. If you keep cleaning it, taking it apart, you're going to do more damage than good. So even though it looks like really crystal clear, it doesn't mean that it is, you know. So very cool. And so thank you for that, sir. That's great advice. And let's see what else. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and find that color. Let's come over here, open up Krita. Just be one moment. Krita's opening up. Okay. All right, so now we want to look at the dark of her hair. And let's come over here. Okay, so that's really dark. Let me get the right materials here. There we go. And that's basically black, right? So now what we want to do is figure out what the color of the light would be. So we know that it's almost black. The color of the light is actually a very, very dark red. So we're going to mix that as well. So we're going to do that first. And I think we're going to do it with the paintbrush techniques like I did in the other one initially. So we have my test painting and we're going to go ahead and mix that. So let's do this real fast. Get the, okay, so I see the color. Okay. And then get the other element here. Oh, Patty says how the book's coming. Well, every day at lunch I am working on it, refining chapter 2, and so I'm on my 4th draft. So this is the final draft before I send it over to the copy editor. So thanks for asking, Patty. I'm very excited about it. The book is getting more and more involved, so to speak. It's getting more refined, and I love that. So when it is publishing, I'm really going to be happy. I know what I want that waxy kind of textured book jacket, because it's going to be a soft cover. And I want it to be 6x9, and I want it to be large font so everybody could read it. So I'm very excited about it. So now we look at it, and it is basically mostly this kind of light gray color with a little bit of red in it. And I actually see. So I'm going to go ahead and mix that up real quick. Okay. Now these I mixed about 3 weeks ago, and let's see how they hold off with my patented mixture. Now the thing is to open them, and let's see. There we go, and they're still wet. Look how creamy they are after 3 weeks, like the day I actually mixed them. Really incredible. So I have this beautiful color here, and now I just close it. Really beautiful system I'm coming up with. Now what we're going to do is we're going to mix this red color, and my wet palette is actually quite dry, so that's okay. It's been like a month, so I think that's excusable. Let's see. Just be one moment while I grab that color. I'm looking for naphthol red. And as you can see, naphthol red medium. Just a beautiful color. Okay. Look how beautiful that naphthol red medium is. It's really probably in the heart of red, right? It's really deep, which I'm really happy about. So the book is really getting deep as to what color is and how color and energy are the same thing, and how what we see is invisible until it hits our retinas. That kind of thing is, to me, I think is a revelation. Now, it's going to be mostly this gray color with a little bit of the red. There we go. Now, we're going to go ahead and get a paintbrush, and we're going to paint that in first. And I have my patented medium, which is really great, this stuff right here. And this allows everything to dry super slow. Whoop, bring this back. Okay. There we go. Try that one more time. Yeah, the bigger screen kind of went out. And let's see if this is going to work a little bit better. Okay, now I have to focus. And it doesn't want me to focus. There we go. Now it's nice and focused. Okay, so now I'm going to put this, and then I'll unfocus it. There we go. Now this allows me to keep my paint wet indefinitely. It's really amazing. And one thing you want to do when you're working like this, you want to kind of lighten the graphite, because the graphite is going to mix. So you want to go ahead and lighten that with eraser. Hey, how you doing, the mommy baby? How's everything? Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thanks for saying that my work is wonderful. I'm honored. Thank you. So, do we know you? Hey, how you doing, Colette? All the way from Atlanta. How's everything? And the mommy baby, where are you from, may I ask? I always like to know where my friends are from. Sheila, so Sheila Ponce from high school? Oh, if it is, it's great to see you. Ah, how you been, my art and design sister? We went to school together, guys. We went to the High School of Art and Design together. 10 years ago, right? So now what I'm going to do is I am going to just go ahead and kind of put this in. It's going to give me more time to kind of work in these lights here. And then I'll take a brush. 5 years ago, that's right. That's exactly it. That's so funny, Sheila. How's your son doing? I know he must be so big by now. He's probably in college. Exactly. Who's counting, Sheila, right? Okay, now I put that on there. That's going to give me about 15 minutes of workable times. 21 in December. Isn't that crazy? That's just nuts, right? Unbelievable. Okay, so now I'm going to take this mixture and we're going to see how it looks. And it's a little bit on the red side, but we're going to stick with it. I kind of like it. He does watch me from time to time, but hasn't been able to catch me live. Oh, well, tell him I said thank you so much. I appreciate that. And so I'm going to be working wet into wet when I can. Now, the reason was it was very important to go ahead and get rid of that graphite, because that would come back to haunt us. Something awful. I'm just kind of establishing. Hey, Mr. Mike, how are you today? Great to see you all the way from Maryland. How you been, sir? Sorry I haven't been able to make the live streams. It's been a little crazy here. But, you know, that I do apologize. You know, working at the store, I had to ship out a lot of things last week. It was a little bit on the hectic side. But hopefully this weekend I'll be able to catch you. Hair is a funny thing, you know. It's something that you work on over time, you know. You don't try and do it, you know, right away. So I want to establish this kind of reddish gray color here. And it's all about establishing lights and darks. And then pretty soon I'm going to come in with my darks. But first, establish these lights here. Then little by little, we will, and you got to be careful that you don't go too dark. You can go too light, that's fine, but too dark causes more issues than good. Okay, so now we just hit a little more of this gray area here. We don't have to be perfect at all. Oh, wow, be careful in those lightning storms already, huh? That's amazing, you know. We had a crazy winter. I can imagine a crazy spring is par for the course, right? Now, if I'm creating a wet surface here, and it would be terrible to try and airbrush on a wet surface. Why? Because I have been experimenting, and the experimentation is really what makes the difference. So always experiment when you're painting. It's so important to do so. So now I'm going to take some of my black and some of that deep naphthol red medium, and that's going to be my black. I'm going to take quite a bit of it, mix a nice healthy amount to actually come in and paint. As you can see, the surface is still nice and wet. Bring up Pure Ref to get my reference. Where did that go? Okay. Okay, great. So I have my reference really big for me, and I'm just going to go ahead and paint. So having this much open time in acrylic is unheard of, which is wonderful. Now the thing is, when you're working in wet into wet techniques in acrylic, just like oil, you want to make sure that you give it time to kind of build up. So what does everybody think about the winter we had this year, huh? It's been kind of crazy. This was a rough winter to say the least. I'm just going to slowly build up this color here. Oh, thank you. Sheila says, I never cease to amaze her. Never stop perfecting your skill. Thank you. I so appreciate you. And you're one of my favorites from art and design. So my book has become a labor of love, and I'm just going to keep working on that book until it is completely done. Get it to my copy editor, and I'm going to illustrate the book cover, but a lot of the illustrations on the inside I have an illustrator for, and we're just working together to get this to a finished state. And this is definitely getting to be glasses territory. And it's wonderful because the surface is still wet. We got a lot of Wizard of Oz references going on out there. Very funny. Love Wizard of Oz. Now, when I'm going in with this black, it's not going to be the rich black right away. You're going to have to do several layers. Over here, we have this rich black. But again, it's going to take several layers to get there. And this is acrylic, the same stuff that's going through the airbrush, but in paintbrush form. Now I can move this aside that I started this, and now I can come and work on my original. And I can kind of resolve some of, let's see if I can lighten her a bit. There we go. And we'll zoom in just a little bit here, and we'll resolve some of these shapes. But you see how I worked on it first on my practice one? Now this in here, this dark that comes in, that's on the flesh. That's a cast shadow from the hair. So I definitely wouldn't use this dark of the hair for that at all. Oh, that's nice. See, Colette, everyone wants you to be safe, including myself. Be careful. And now, you know, this acrylic going over this beautiful metal panel with this 6000 waterborne sealer, I have this wonderful surface. It's just, the paint is just gliding over it so nicely. And I can really work on the wonderful contour of her hair. Mike S., how you doing? Mike S. says, well, Tim, you finally proved what you said years ago. You don't have to make fine art using just one method. Well, thank Mike. Now, are you Mike S. all the way from Michigan or Ohio? Are you the same Mike S.? Well, definitely. You know, I try to use different mediums because, you know, I have different sides of me and stuff like that, as we all do. And sometimes one medium just won't do it, right, Mike? And I'm definitely never in a hurry to finish a painting. The painting will be finished when it's finished. Oh yes, Mike, great to see you. Patty, have a great night. Great to see you, Patty. Thank you so much for hanging out. I hope you have an amazing weekend coming up. And I'm just going to be working on the contour of Khatia here. This comes kind of down at this angle right here. Then we have this beautiful dark where her neck is. Ah, I'm so glad you're here, Mike. How you been? Always a pleasure. Mike from Ohio. A very dear friend of the group. Has been with me, I would say, at least 5, maybe 6 years. And I understand we can't always get to hang out, but you know, when we do, we enjoy it. And this hair, her hair, comes down pretty far. And oh, you finished the John Lennon painting and a couple of other ones. Wow, you're really getting fast. That's amazing, my friend. Right over here, it kind of is a loop of hair right about here. And then this comes down. Yes, you were, my friend. So I'm so glad, and thank you for being a friend to the channel all these years. I don't take that lightly. So people ask me how long I've been a YouTuber. Since 2008. That makes me an OG. Now I'm definitely not going to do any scratching here. I'm just going to paint it. Here we're just going to regain that contour that we lost when you worked on the background. So when I paint, what I like to do is refine as I go, right? Start out rough. Yes, keep it gangster. That's so true, JC. OG. Regaining those dark lights. And now what I want to do is I want to come in the airbrush and really blend that in. But before I do that, what I'd like to do is kind of work on uh, some edge work here and then airbrush that. Now when I want to have like you know, really quick drying time, then I won't use all those extras that I'm doing. Hey, Mr. Bobby, all the way from Cape Cod, how are you? Michael says, that's one thing it helps is blocking in and then going for details. So true there, Mr. Michael McGlung. Okay. So now I want to come in with the airbrush and hit this dark. So I'm going to see how I can do that. And let's make that happen. I am going back here. Such a beautiful dark color here. Okay, get out of my own way here. Oh, look at that. Then okay, so I definitely see what I have to do, and that is almost a red orange, right? So let me go get my red orange, which is a cadmium red, I believe a cadmium red light. Let's double check. I did see the cadmium red light over here. We have naphthol red. There we go. So here we have this beautiful cadmium red light. Maybe a little bit of red with the cadmium red light. Okay. So we have our cadmium red light. We're going to add some of that naphthol red medium. Just a touch. There we go. So that's the color. And now I'm going to add some black. And then once I mix it to paint, then I can come in with the airbrush as well. So paintbrush and airbrush at the same time. Oh, it's getting close to that really rich chocolatey color. Okay, that's nice. And a little bit of our gray. Maybe a little bit more black. Just a little bit of that naphthol red medium. A little bit more. Oh, so tomorrow you get an echo done. I hope it goes all right. Oh, Mike, I hope that everything goes perfect, my friend. Hope you feel great. We need you healthy. The airbrush world needs you, sir. All right, so now we have this. Mr. Dave the bug Gregory. How are you, my friend? Great to see you. How's everything? Always a pleasure. Thank you so much for the super chat and hanging out and being such a great friend. Thank you, sir. How's life with you over there? So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start very lightly kind of moving in this dark right at the hairline, kind of uh, softening it up, if you will. Wow, thank you, sir. Look at that. 2 super chats in a row. I appreciate that, my friend. Thank you so much. So, Mr. Dave, the Bug Grave Gregory, thank you so much for helping the channel and keeping things going. So we appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much. What I'm doing now is kind of, so this is almost the 1-year anniversary where Dave and the fam came to visit me over in New York City, and that was great. Such great memories. I treasure that. That had so much fun for me, hanging out with you guys. Just see, this is like a nice brownish color, like a deep reddish orange with black, you know. Oh my God, Thrice, that is amazing. This is incredible. Thank you, Mr. Dave. Thank you, my friend. That just helps out the channel so much, you know. And I really appreciate you, sir. Just pulling this down. So I don't want to put black in here because there's a lot of flesh going on. Ah, thank you, Mr. Dave. I appreciate you so much. Yeah, we had such, Dave and I went to the Met with his family, and we just had such a killer time. And it's been 1 year almost to the day that we hung out with the fam. Great kids, and Maria's amazing, and Dave, of course, is amazing. Reminds me I have to renew my Met membership. Now, what I'm going to do, and the plan is to first come in with the paintbrush and then go ahead and use the airbrush to soften it up in between. And it's kind of a sharper angle in her chin, and I want to get that. You guys are funny. So now I'm also going to, with a zygomatic bone, kind of comes in from the frontal bone. Those who take my classes know about all that anatomy that I talk about. Oh yeah, the number one crown. I think that's who is, you know, talking the most or saying the most comments, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm coming in with this orangey red as opposed to a black in the darkest dark of the flesh. Because there is subsurface scattering. There's blood and there's the dermis, epidermis, you know, all of those molecules. So we can't just paint it as black. It doesn't do the justice of what's underneath our skin, you know. So I had to buy the computer because I'm making some videos for Photonic Realism in the book. So I was unable to go ahead and continue with the computer because it wasn't handling the bandwidth, and that just caused some issues. So I had to bite the bullet and get a new computer, and then it wasn't working correctly because of my USB ports, and I overload things, you know. She really does. She's a very timeless beauty, Khatia. Uh, just amazing. And I want to capture that timeless beauty in her. So right here at the, actually this is the orbital ridge here. I just want to establish this dark. Right over here too is this beautiful dark. Right here. So some of the advantages of going in with paintbrush techniques as opposed to, you know, just airbrush is that you have a much more, uh, you have much more delicate things you can do. Not that you can't do it uh, with the paintbrush, I mean with the airbrush, but people like me who have been painting with the paintbrush a lot longer than painting with the airbrush, and why would we not take advantage of that, you know, of that experience? This brush, me and Mike bought the same brush actually, which is cool, right? We both got it at Hobby Lobby, so definitely. And what I'm doing is I'm using my combination mixture, and I'm using that as my medium. I know Mike uses these brushes too. Right, Mike? We both got them in Hobby Lobby. Oh, well, I know that uh, Mr. Dave is making a spray booth, which is exciting because I don't know how to do that. So I loved what he was doing. Exactly, we did, my friend. I remember that about 2 years ago, right, sir? Now I have this reddish color. Remember, I was going to revisit how it was a cast shadow on the face. I'm going to use more of this medium because the more you use it, the more transparent it gets here. See how I can get more of a transparent look in the eyebrows. Then they kind of go change direction a little bit right here. Bobby says he's going to be making a spray booth and has paint for his cousin's motorcycle in a few weeks. That's going to be exciting, my friend. Looking forward to seeing how that comes out. And on this side, I still want to go, very transparent at first with the eyebrows. So with acrylic, if you add more of a gloss medium, it actually will act as make it more transparent and translucent at the same time. And when you're working in transparency, you don't want to, do it all at once. You want to take your time with it. We need more of that gel. We're losing our transparent quality here. Now this comes down a good clip here. We're going to keep it transparent for now, and then if we need to add opacity later. Michael says, Dave, you were thinking about one of them blow-up paint boots, he thinks. And then here it starts getting very light, more transparent. We can inch in some of this dark here. Get some of these transitions. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to come in with that dark and kind of hit those darks a little bit. Let's see how we can do that with the airbrush. The persistent breeze and wind makes painting anything outside a chore. I could imagine. So, we're going to go ahead and mix that same color, but now in airbrush paints. Okay, put her aside. So remember, we had a red-orange. Here's our red. Here's our red-orange, which I have to make more. Okay, had a little bit of red in it, remember? Stay tuned, I'm making a new video on using opaques and transparents. It's going to be a printed video, should be going up this weekend, so that's going to be a lot of fun. We got my shading gray. It's when you ease into that black. A lot of times you get this little skin that goes on there. You gotta take the skin off, otherwise the paint doesn't want to come out. Look at all that skin coming off. Whoops, still doesn't want to come out. Let's see. Let's see, that's close to what I want, right there. Very close. One more shot. That should do it. And then I'll put my other element in there. See what we have here. This will work. Sounds like a September project. Let's see. Those are fantastic ideas. Okay, so I think this is a good dark for now. We can always go darker. So I'm going to be using this airbrush right here, the Extreme Patriot 105, customized by myself. I call it the Obsidian Large Cap. Okay, here goes. Here goes nothing. We'll see how this looks. I'm going to test it, of course, on my test image, right, rather than on my regular painting. We'll see how this goes. Okay. First we'll test it down here. See, when the air actually comes out, the paint comes out, that means that two things. Either there's something stuck in the nozzle that's keeping it open, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll just loosen the chucking nut, kind of move this around, pull it out. That usually will take care of it if we're lucky, and it seems like it did. I think we can go a little dark. Let's see here. Move this right over here. So we're going to add this dark with the airbrush. So this is nice. I'm able to kind of work on this. I may get a little bit of blue shift down here, but that's okay. I'm not worried about that. I can always take care of a blue shift. So what I would want to do is come in with this dark, and then afterward we'll come in with a darker color. Okay, so that's not bad. So I think we can definitely establish this dark using the other painting. So let's bring this over. Oh wow, I didn't know that, my friend. So Pennsylvania, that would be great, be closer to me. And now I'm just going to start softening this up here. I can come back in with that paintbrush technique and work on this zygomatic area. And I can soften this edge here. Now with my working on the metal from the paper, I don't have as much wiggle room. It will start skating a lot quicker because it's not as an absorbent ground, you know? So I gotta kind of hit and move and come back later, so to speak. But it's good that I'm able to kind of test out the waters on the practice piece before I go into my, you know, my main painting. Here's the zygomatic, the sternocleidomastoid coming down. Just creating area so I can come in with the darker color, you know. So when to use the paintbrush, when to use the airbrush is very important tightrope, you know. Oh wow. Soften up this edge here. Again, you have to be very careful when working on metal because it's a different animal in the sense that, you know, the metal will definitely skate on you. So I see this little piece. I've seen Jonathan Pantaleone do this, and this is scary. But what I'm going to do is just try and kind of scrape this off lightly. There was a little paint speck on there, and I was able to get that off, and that was exciting. So that felt good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in, add a little more black to this. So that means more shading gray. I don't like the fact that it's not coming out very well, so I'm going to take an old airbrush needle and I'm just going to kind of stab it in here and maybe even pull out some of the dried acrylic that's in there. Ah, there it is, that big old piece of acrylic. There we go. You can see like a snail, it just starts coming out. Let me grab this. Big old piece. Now it's just going to flow. Put a couple of drops in that airbrush. There we go. Let's see what this looks like. Okay. Of course, we're going to do a test on here. See how this looks. This is what we have, and you'll see it start getting darker as we go. Okay, now it's starting to flow dark. Very transparent, so look at that transparent. I have time to go opaque. So now we can kind of work on softening this edge here. Now with a darker color. And that's what you want to do. You want to, you know, eventually, you know, soften the edges, but you don't have to do that right away. You got a little bit of skating there. Just got to be careful. Let's see. Even in the dark, there's still a lot of red in there, which is very important. It'll soften that edge right there. Later I can come in with some paintbrush techniques, but I think that would be pretty premature at this point in the hair. And then I can come back in with my orange and white mixture and kind of refine things. The whole thing about a portrait is just the refinement of just going over it and getting it, you know. Oh, Glen Burnie, that's pretty cool. How far would you be from New York City, Mike? Oh, 2 hours away. Okay, that's not too bad. One of these days you got to come up to New York to see me. And now we could come in with some more paintbrush techniques over here. We'll do that now. Let's see, this guy right here. Lots of paper towels, that's what we use, right guys? Lots of paper towels. And thank you so much, Mr. Dave, for tonight's super chats. I really appreciate you. Okay, so we'll get some of our naphthol red medium. And a little bit of black. Make sure that, you know, it's not black, that you have some color in there. And long wavelengths. Don't put any purple in your blacks, that's for sure. It's not a good thing. Hey, Jammer James T8W, how you doing? And he says, I make my hands at my shop, watch when you paint, and we do bikes and cars, but it's about learning. You are a great teacher. Much love. Well, thank you, Jammer James. Thank you so much. And you're from Austin, Texas. A lot of great friends from Texas. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, James. Wow. And, you know, wonderful to see, other airbrush artists like yourself, keeping, holding the torch, so to speak. Thank you so much. Yeah, so guys, what I'm doing is eventually just kind of softening, she's a beautiful woman, so I want to make sure that I'm softening everything. Now, where her hair is, it would be more of a black. But where her skin is, it would be more of a red black. Because remember, you know, there's flesh and blood and everything in our skin. So we have to make sure that we portray that. But it's good to go back and forth with the airbrush, right? It's very, very important. Airbrush, paintbrush technique. There's the perfect job, perfect tool for the perfect job, or something like that. Now here, we got a little interesting area. This little dark here, that is our flesh black, right? So we're gonna have some red in there. And it's a pretty hard edge right in here. But what I'm thinking is I'm thinking of hitting that at first with a kind of more reddish color because we want to feel that blood in her skin, the subsurface scattering. We want to feel that. So first I'm going to come in with a little bit more red. Maybe some red orange in there. Kind of setting it up, right? Now we're going to go over this with a transparent black. Now there's a method to my madness because when we come in with that dark, it's going to show some of that glow. We'll bring some of this transparent orange right up here. Kind of setting up that subsurface scattering. Same thing with her nostril here. Let's see how we're going to do this. Dun dun dun. Now we want that orangey red color because light is actually going inside her skin, inside the dermis, the epidermis, you know, the cartilage, moving around, bouncing around, and coming out the other side. So that's why I'm setting up with this beautiful orange color. So when I go over it with a darker color, it'll still read as, you know, her nostril and not a hole. You don't want it to be a hole. And then very softly right now I'm going to establish establish her mouth a little bit. Now I did kind of make a mistake, but we can always go over that with our orange and white mixture, so there's no worries. It's okay to make a mistake. It's not okay to be tentative. But that's why the test artwork comes into play. Right now I'm just worrying about the shape. I am putting the orange in because, you know, even when I go over it with black, the orange is going to give it more strength. I'm going to put some orange on top of that black there underneath her nostril on that side. I'll come in with a darker color again, but I want that glow. So I'm going to hit that with this orange color, knowing that I'm coming back. It's like chess, you know, you want to set up your pieces, you know, before you attack. Oh, so Mr. Well, she's actually Mr. JC. Thank you so much. Yeah, she's in the middle of playing the piano. So here's the top of the piano. Here's the bottom of the piano, and so she's really intense in it. You know. Oh, thank you. Mr. Michael says she looks awesome, and Tim, not Adam. I appreciate that, sir. And so, like, when you make a mistake, like there's a little bit of red there, don't panic, right? Just, you know, slow things down and don't react, right? It's not, you definitely don't want to react. So basically what's happening with Miss Khatia is she's like super intense right now. And that's basically what's happening, you know, she's intense, you know, playing the piano. And I'm trying, and she's playing this beautiful piece. I think it's, oh, I think, let me see if I can see the piece that she's playing. I think it's Schubert. Let's see. Might be wrong. Uh, let's see. She's just an amazing concert pianist. It's just so incredible, you know, the stuff that she does. It just blows your mind. And I'll show on my Facebook channel, if you ever go on my Facebook channel and see, you know, oh yeah, so here she's playing Schubert Impromptu number 3 in G flat major. It's really amazing. So just incredible. Michael says, Tim, you're not putting a black you're not putting a black lie down holding the piano part up, are you? No, I don't think so. It's just going to be like right there, you know, and so that's pretty cool. So this is just like part of, you know, the top of the piano, and then here is gonna be more of, you know, the the front of the piano, or what you can't see. Too bad we can't see our hands in this picture. So let's see what we have here. So in here we still have our orange and white mixture from 2 weeks ago. But I think it would be best not to try and use that. So we're going to clean this out, and we're going to use our orange and light mixture and kind of keep working. Oh, you guys are all making boots. That's really cool. I'm a little jealous, but I'm glad you guys get that excitement out of it. Okay. So you see how I have that red there? You know, you might be like, oh, Tim made a mistake. No, it's setting up. It's like, just like setting up when you're playing chess. You know, you're getting your pieces in position. Great. Now I can come over here, clean this out the best I can. Now put some water in it. Wow, thank you, Mike. Mike says he forgot how much he likes watching me work. I appreciate that, and I always love your conversation, my friend. Always a pleasure. Always look forward to seeing you on Wednesday nights, Mike. Oh, that's fantastic. You love your work area now. I never had a dream work area. I always had to make do with what I have. And that's okay. I feel blessed whenever I'm able to work. But yeah, it would be great to have that, wouldn't it? So now I'm going to come in with my orange and white mixture. And I'm not going to go ahead and test the orange and white mixture because, you know, it's pretty tricky. Because too much orange and you're adding orange, too much white and you're adding blue. So you have to find that. So you always want to find that on your test painting, right? I'm going to give you guys a few more minutes of art today because I started a little bit late. Ooh, I have some iced tea, so let me see if I could grab some iced tea first. Where is it? I had a whole bottle. Oh yeah, here it is. Probably going to drink it all in one swig right now. So I want to do more, still do the live streams on Wednesday, but more, um, uh, you know, just straight recorded video. And some really special stuff from the members. Okay, so let's see what this is doing with the white mixture and the orange. Okay, I think that's looking good. You know, I always like coming back with the orange and white mixture and kind of getting that oil painting look. Lower my air pressure a little bit at the pack valve. Wonderful. So now I'm able to, now I want to make sure, so I'm looking for a gray piece of paper here. I want to make sure that it's not coming out on its own. See, that's the thing. I didn't touch my airbrush. I left the paint in there for 2 weeks, and now when I cleaned it, just emptied it out and flushed it, it's working perfectly. So now I'm coming in with some color. Now I'm going to work back and forth. And you see now it's like I'm starting to get that feeling of going back and forth like if I was working in oils. Not being afraid to be decisive. So what, I have to fix it. I don't care. I just want to be decisive. So remember, down here we have a mistake, and I'm just going to go over that with the orange and white mixture. And shape the septum a little bit. Always know that I can always come back and refine. Nothing's written in stone. Oh, thinner. Oh, I see. For solvent. So I leave paint in the as long, but I never leave my my paintbrushes are never dry. I always leave them wet. Now remember, we're working on aluminum. It's totally different. Oh, Mr. Dave says, looking great, sir. I appreciate that. Thank you, my friend. And we have some high energy areas here. So I'm going to come in with that orange and white mixture and kind of blast out some lights over here. Just pumping that trigger. Now the thing is, I'm not trying to solve the big equations right away. It's just a very slow turn. So remember here at the lips, we had a little mistake. See, I can go over that very easily. Just pump that trigger. Don't try and do it all at once. Come back, let it dry. Sometimes you have to destroy what you have to make it better. Just hit it, come back, and, you know, come back to it. Don't try and do it all at one time. You don't want any skating, not skatering. Oh, that's fantastic, Mr. Michael. It's very light. That's okay because I'm coming in with the midtones. Setting up. If I have any errors, I can fix that very easily. Now, that's a mistake that I did. So, always make sure that when you stop spraying, that your next spray, your very first spray, is never on your painting. Because you will get a cough of paint. So this is right here, the retrorbicularis oculi fat compartment over here. We all have it. And so we all have the bone, the muscle, and the fat compartments in our cheeks, in our chin, in our foreheads. That's natural. So like the nasolabial fold, the depressa anguli oris. And now I'm going to come back in with a mid-tone color. Okay, so it's different when you're painting in acrylic with airbrush. You're working with slightly thicker paint, so you have to come in and kind of work it. So now I'm going to find the mid-tone color, and it's a very interesting color, so let's see if I can find it. Right about here. So I would definitely say it's an orange, and it is an orange with a little red orange in it. That's the main color. Okay, so I see that. Mike says that his fat compartment is way lower than hers. Mine is all around. Oh, that's not true, my friend. And so it's just all part of the anatomy, the fat compartments, the muscles. That's what makes us who we are, you know. And now we're going to turn this to 0. Okay, so now we'll figure. Okay, so I definitely see what my mixture is going to be. Let's go ahead and make this happen, my friends. So we're going with an orange with red orange. A little bit of our red orange in here. I am definitely running low on red orange. Alright, so now we will go to the next element. Where is that? Now what I have to do is kind of lower the energy level. And our transparent shading gray is always a good thing for that. I do love painting with you guys on a Wednesday night. That's my that's kind of like my leveling off of the week, you know, when I get to hang out with you all. So that darkened things quite a bit, so I have to compensate for that. But it did lower that chroma nicely. Maybe just a little bit lighter, my friends. There we go. See that nice kind of muted skin tone. Now I'm going to use this right here, which is my Extreme Patriot 105, the Obsidian by me. And we're going to clean that out, and then we'll work and do a little back and forth for the next 14 minutes. So back like in the old days, I did a full 2 hours, and oh, thank you, my friend. So I make your Wednesday nights. I appreciate that, and I love hanging out with you, Mike, Mr. McGlung, and love hanging out with Mike S. and Dave, and we got Mr. JC here, and everyone who came by. It's just so great. It's one of those nice days where time just kind of flies by. So I'm leaving a little bit of that darker color in there. And let's take a look. So we don't want to practice on our main painting, right, everybody? We're going to practice on this one. And first we're going to make sure our airbrush is spraying correctly, so it's not coming out when we're not pulling back. So that's good. Move this aside. Okay. Now, here, definitely, that's exactly the color we're looking for. Yes. It's nice when that happens, isn't it, guys? Nice and transparent, and that's what we want, that transparency. Yep, that makes me happy. So now we can do some back and forth. First airbrush will have this like mid-tone, this really kind of diluted transparency flesh tone, and then we can come in and go back and forth here. I don't have to be so careful because I can just go over it with the orange and white mixture. So I can just be a little reckless, right? I don't have to be, you definitely don't want to be precious when you're painting. And I'll go right over my dark because I don't care. I'd rather, you know, have a good feeling about the color and the mid-tones and keep working back and forth than just worrying about it being perfect. Perfect is way down the line. And I'm going to go a little bit darker. I'm going to add a little bit of this from earlier tonight. Just going to add that in. just want to go a little bit darker in my midtones. See how that goes. Like I said, I want to be a little more forceful. There we go. And I'm definitely not worried about, making it perfect. I'm in this for the long haul. So I'm just going to keep going back and forth. What kind of music would everyone say she's playing on the piano? Actually, Michael, she's playing Schubert. It's from a video that I took a still. So she's playing Schubert's Impromptu Number 3 in G flat, a classical piece. It's just wonderful. See how I'm kind of getting blue shift on the hair? I can go back in the hair 100 times. That's neither here nor there for me. I don't mind. But what I want to do is I want to get that feeling of the shapes of her face. And then here in her chin. And then there's this beautiful flesh on her alar cartilage of her nose. And I'm just going to leave that and also go down to this area of her clavicle right here. A little bit of her clavicle right there. And then you have the glabella. Stuff we would never listen to when we were 16. I loved classical music, even when I was a kid. I always did. I was definitely not your normal kid, that's for sure. But I did like U2, and I did like, what other bands, the Cars, that sort of stuff, but always loved my classical music. So now I'm going to come in with my white mixture, but I have to come darker, You can tell that because she's too calm playing. Oh, she's so deep when she plays. Oh my God, she's definitely in another world, which is wonderful. When you see her play, it's just incredible. So now I can start moving back and forth with this white mixture, and then I can come in and really start working on the anatomy of her face, and just keep working back and forth, almost like working in wet clay at this point, right? I mean, even though we're spraying dry, it's acting like wet paint. So I'm really not looking for any beautiful details, just getting the structure. That's important to me. And then I'll just go further away, just kind of softening everything up. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I want to get a little bit of a deeper skin tone. So rather than go ahead and just darken it, I want to first just add this darker color, slightly darker color, and then come in with even darker color. Have you ever oh, that's one of my favorite movies, Michael. That is such an incredible film. You like that one? And Mike S says, Tim, I never said some of us didn't like it. Just would never let anyone know. We listen sometimes, right? When we're kids. Now this is really light. It's not making much of a difference. But I'm just going to ease that in here. We're getting like real subtle color shifts. Great feed, Tim. Looking great. Have a great night, JC. Always a pleasure, my friend. Just moving back and forth, not worrying about being perfect. Actually, the last thing you want is your painting to be perfect at this point. You're making much bigger decisions right now. Everything is in its flow state. Even down here, I'm just going to kind of dust this back. Even here, I'm going to dust this area back here. And soften this area. Oh yeah, Amadeus is so great. The characters, you know, the guy who played Salieri is incredible. The guy who played the King of Austria is incredible. So what I'm doing now is I'm softening up these values here. And then I could really kind of come in. Now right here it gets a little too rough. I'm going to soften this up. There we go. Okay, everyone, looks like it's 11:29. So I gave you guys an extra half hour because you're great. And thanks for hanging, everybody. I really enjoyed my time with you. Mr. Dave, thank you so much for the super chats, everyone. It's a pleasure. Good to see you, Mike S. Always a pleasure. And we had Sheila here. And it was great to see everybody. It was great to see Jammer James 28W. And thank you, everyone else, for hanging. I hope to see you next week, and be on the lookout for some new videos coming on, recorded videos for Airbrush. I think you're going to love it. So I'll talk to everyone soon. Take care. First Airbrush live stream with the new computer. So it was successful. Take care.